This is a good time for America to think again about anti-Semitism. It seems to be more fashionable in Europe. It seems to be more fashionable in this country, regretfully, among at least some members of the new class in the House. We need to stand up to it in every way we possibly can.
Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell there condemning what he is calling a, quote, disturbing rise of anti-Semitism, saying the Senate could soon vote on a measure addressing the issue. Of course, this comes as House Democratic leaders appear to have caved to pressure on a similar resolution in their chamber. Let's bring in Dr. Zuhdi Jasser, president of the American Islamic Forum for Democracy. Good morning to you, doctor. So,
good morning.
Are they doing enough? Start with the House, for example. Are they doing enough to push against anti-Semitism in the House?
Absolutely not. I mean, if you look at the resolution, I'm frankly, as an American and as a Muslim, insulted at that resolution because it doesn't name Ilhan Omar. You listen to Eliot Engel and he says, oh, we're going to work with her. I mean, it's patronizing. They're infantilizing her. And when did congressional office, Sandra, become a deprogramming rehab for radical Islamist ideology? So this isn't about sort of a Harry Potter story of Lord Voldemort, the one who shall not be named. It's about Congresswoman Ilhan Omar, who has a panoply of a canard of anti-Semitic ideas, and Congress is actually seeming to turn into sort of the UN, where everything, when you talk about anti-Semitism, you have to tack on Islamophobia, and this is why it's delayed. I predicted this yesterday. They're delaying it. Why? Because they want to give a nod to the Islamists and begin to put little footnotes about, well, there's also anti-Muslim bias, etc. And every American should be offended. There's no moral equivalency in Western history between anti-Semitism and anti-Muslim bias. There isn't.
They said that they want this resolution to be updated to include, to your point, a nod to anti-Muslim bias. But House Majority Whip James Clyburn told reporters that the resolution should emphasize an anti-hate message, is the way he characterized it. You mentioned Eliot Engel, the congressman. Let's hear him in his own words.
I don't know that would do anything except exacerbate the situation even more. I'm looking to get rid of anti-Semitism, not looking to punish anybody. I think that it's very important that we keep our eye on the prize. And I think that whenever there is hatred being spewed, or again, racism, anti-Semitism, homophobia, Islamophobia, I think we have to speak out.
So he was being asked whether it is under consideration to strip her of her role in the Foreign Affairs Committee. He responded, no, I'm not close to it, Dr. Jasser.
I'm sorry, when are we Muslims going to be treated like adults? They're treating her like a child. When they did a resolution against Steve King and he was removed from committees, I don't remember them talking about other forms of hate because he was treated as an adult, as he should have been, who should have been removed from his committees. She should be removed from the Foreign Affairs Committee. It's time that Muslims be treated by prime time rather than infantilized and treated as sort of, oh, somebody who's basically on-the-job training in Congress. That's not what this resolution is about. There's a lot of resolutions in American history about anti-Semitism and Holocaust recognition, etc. That's not the time. That's not what this is about. Right now, the left has a problem in their allegiance with Islamists and alliance with Islamists, and rather they're sounding more like Iran's positions and others rather than Western American positions about anti-Semitism.
I want to end with this fresh sound from Lee Zeldin. He was talking this morning, and he has previously sparred with Representative Omar, and he said this.
I've spoken to House Democrats who are very upset with what Congresswoman Omar has said. Many of them have stated it publicly. They wanted a resolution that's more strongly worded. But the problem is you have a few freshman Democrats, in particular Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and Rashida Tlaib and even Congresswoman Omar, leading their party rather than being led by it.
And final thoughts on that, Dr. Jasser?
I mean, this is exactly what happens in the UN. You wonder why our strongest ally ends up being the focus of resolutions in the UN, because dictators, socialist regimes, Maduro, others end up focusing on Israel rather than on the real problem, which is their own house. So rather than focus on the house of Islam and the need for reform against Islamism, they're focusing on sort of moral equivalencies which don't exist.
All right, we will see what happens with this vote. Dr. Jasser, I appreciate your time this morning. Thank you, sir.